Meeting of the Stratford Town Council's regular monthly meeting to order. I'd like to thank everybody for coming, and especially Corporal Matthew Painter. Thanks for coming, and nice to see you. Thanks. It is Corporal Painter, is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, you got the ball cap on. I recognize you with the ball cap. Okay. With that, we acknowledge the land upon which we gather as the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq, and we pay our respects to the Indigenous Mi'kmaq people of this territory, past, present, and future. The next item is declaration of conflict of interest. Anyone around the table have a conflict in any of the items that are on our agenda tonight for discussion? If not, I'll move to third item, approval of the agenda. The agenda is in your package. Any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda that anyone would like to suggest? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the agenda. Thank you. Second? Thank you. You got that, Neela? Okay. The next item is the minutes of our meeting of the 18th of June, our regular council meeting. Any additions, deletions, or changes to those minutes anyone would like to propose? If not, entertain a motion for approval of those minutes. Thank you. Councillor Cox. Second? Oh, second. Councillor Chandler. Thank you. All right. Any business arising from those minutes that we won't be discussing here tonight? If not, we'll move to presentations from the floor. No presentations from the floor, Kim? No? Okay. My report's in your package. Just go over a couple of highlights. We had a great meeting with the PEI RCMP Commanding Officer Kevin Lewis on June 11th. The Construction Association, it was my pleasure to give us a few remarks to that gathering, and thank them for all the work they do and all the legacy they leave here in Stratford. Great organization, and it was great to have them. They were hosted at Fox Meadow and at the Lone Oak and at Fox Meadow. The Mayflower Seniors Club had their closing luncheon and invited myself and my wife, and it was really nice. They're a great organization, and they really provide a lot of positive benefits, real great benefits for seniors in our community. PEI Francophone Association, they advocate for Francophones in our community, and we met with them to see how we can work together to improve services for Francophones in our community. We began the process for hiring our new Chief Administrative Officer, so we hope to have a new I'll not use the word replacement because that can't be used with regard to that position after we had Jeremy Crosby and we lost him. So it'll be the hiring process for the new CAO, and we hope to have someone in place by September 1st. We had a public meeting, great feedback at the public meeting, the official plan public meeting to get public feedback on our proposed or the draft official plan that was presented. Great job by planning staff to and by our consultant there to present that to the residents. Canada Day was another great success. Really appreciated having the RCMP there and their Surge Red, and adds a lot of gravity and a lot of meaning to the Canada Day celebration. That's a symbol of Canada, and I really appreciate you being there, Corporal Painter, and the other members that were there. We had Jeremy Pierce and I were interviewed by CBC about the community campus and the progress that's taken place there. Great progress. We still don't have an opening date, but I think if this great weather continues, I think we're going to be regaining some of the lost time that we lost because of the wet spring. We had a great meeting yesterday with the our Member of Parliament, Kent MacDonald, talking about federal funding opportunities, a New Canada Strong Fund, and then this morning met with a representative of Linui to see how we can work together on our path towards reconciliation. We have a duty to consult on all of our projects, so we gave them a holistic view of, Jeremy Pierce and I gave them a holistic view of all the initiatives that are taking place in Stratford for their information. And this afternoon, attended the Seniors College Strawberry Social. Was asked to say a few words and thank that organization for all they do for seniors in our community and across the island. We're really honored to host them here at the town center, and they provide great learning opportunities, a great model for other jurisdictions. So that's my report. Any comments or questions on my report? If not, we'll move to the next item. Chief Administrative Officer. Our acting Chief Administrative Officer, Jeremy Pierce, is away today, so I'm going to ask Kim O'Connor, our Finance Manager, who's now acting as CAO while Jeremy's away, to give the report.
Thanks. So I'll just go over Jeremy's report. So there's been bi-weekly coordination meetings on the Wellness Center for the design of the Wellness Center. And there's meetings on site with the community campus contractor to review progress and upcoming work related to the athletic fields, trails, and parking area developments on the site. Jeremy participated in a core area civil servicing meeting to review infrastructure requirements and servicing considerations related to future development opportunities within the core area. On the transit side, they're still in negotiations on the new agreement. That's been happening for quite a long time, but they're continuing to move it forward, and hopefully we'll get a final agreement soon. On the planning and development side, Jeremy participated in the official plan zoning and development bylaw open house, which we had a good turnout, and there was lots of good feedback at that meeting. And he's been busy with continued business park discussions with multiple interested companies regarding potential investment and development opportunities within the town. Intergovernmental relations, met with the provincial representative regarding the school access pilot project, scheduled to launch in September. And this initiative will initially just involve 6 schools across Prince Edward Island, with the potential expansion of the program throughout additional schools in the new year, which will be a nice thing. Jeremy participated in the quarterly meeting with the RCMP to discuss community safety priorities, operational updates, and matters of mutual interest between the town and the local detachment. Human resources, so Jeremy attended a group benefits presentation to review benefit plan options. And actually I attended that as well. We had the presentation on our annual resident survey, so that was done last week, and it had lots of good information in that presentation. And of course, Jeremy was involved in multiple meetings with residents throughout the past month with a wide range of community matters. So Jeremy's been busy.
Yeah. Any comments or questions on Kim's report? Okay, thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Okay. I must apologize. I had meant to do this at the beginning of our meeting. I'd just like to mention that we lost 3 PEI residents yesterday. Thank you for your reminder, Councillor Dowling. And we lowered the flags to half-mast, so I think we should take a moment to just reflect on the loss to those families, those 3 families, and these are 2 paramedics and a patient in the ambulance were lost, and it was just a terrible, terrible accident. So I think we just take a moment just to moment of silence to think of those families and offer our sincere condolences. Thank you. It's something that I think it's just the kind of thing that people that put their other people before them, and they're providing a service to the island, to people, vulnerable people in their worst possible moment, to be killed in an accident is just horrendous. So anyway, sincere condolences to those families. Okay, on that, we'll move on, I guess, as we have to safety services. I'll ask the chair of that committee, Councillor Ron Dowling, to give his report.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Safety Services Committee met on June 15th. The minutes of that meeting, unapproved minutes, have been circulated to Council. And before opening up for any questions, I'll just make one comment in relation to an item that we had discussions on, and that is of the prevalence of, or increasing prevalence of e-bikes and bikes in general on sidewalks, as opposed to active transportation trails. And moreover, the number of people that appear to be riding bikes of all natures without helmets. And so on that vein, Wendy Watts and staff have arranged a bike helmet fitting clinic with Kenneth Murnion in partnership with Off the Walls. I think it's this coming Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1? A week from Saturday. A week from Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. outside of Off the Walls. And I'd encourage any parents with children or adults who don't use their helmet for one reason or another to attend the clinic and get a proper fitting and start wearing their helmets. It's no small thing if somebody falls off a bike, hits their head in the pavement, and ends up with a catastrophic brain injury that could have been prevented with a helmet. But anyway, hopefully we'll get a good turnout for that clinic. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions in relation to the minutes of the Safety Services Committee as circulated. Okay. Hearing none then. By way of street light reports, we do have 2 new street lights were put in place at Helena Crescent in Clearview Estates. That was based on a request from residents to address some darker areas of that street. So we thank staff for addressing that. Moving on then to 9C, I'll ask Corporal Painter if he'd come forward, please, just to go over some stats that he had submitted and had been circulated to Council previously.
June 2026. Overall, we had a pretty good month in June. Our overall occurrences were down, but it was still a busy month. We starting to see a big rise in traffic in town with tourists. Now school's out. We're also starting to see the summer rush with some of our investigations that took time to thoroughly investigate and prepare for court. So. Month of June, we put a lot of extra focus into safety surrounding the school buses and bus stops. We were in communication with several of our bus drivers where we recognized their issues, the stops that are causing issues, I should say. Just to make sure we could end the school year safely. We followed a few of the buses along their route from tip to tip, and thankfully we didn't have any issues during that time. We did end up writing more than a few tickets this month regarding the vehicles failing to stop for the red flashing bus lights, so still a concern. This is something that we'll pick up again in September. I did that last year. I called a couple of the bus drivers prior to school starting, just to kind of get on the same page. So we'll pick that up again before school starts off again, and hopefully we can improve it even more next year. So during the month of June, we recorded 321 occurrences with 307 founded or still under investigation. These stats are lower than last month's 418 occurrences. We had 155 occurrences related to traffic enforcement, which makes up for about 50% of our calls. We had 35 summary offense tickets issued, 57 warnings, and 15 defects through the month. We had 7 impaired driving occurrences, charging 1 driver for impaired driving, and 2 impaired by drug files remain under investigation pending blood results from the lab. We had 10 thefts in June related to failing to pay at the gas pump, and once again, every one of them were unfounded. And we conducted 22 step files throughout the town. On June 2nd, we were invited to attend Stratford Town Hall to do a fraud presentation as part of a lunch and learn organized by Wendy. As a group, we were able to talk about a variety of topics, including safety, security around the businesses, with the business community. And then on June 9th, 5 of us attended the Glen Stewart Elementary School for their community barbecue that they typically put on. So had a couple cars there, and one of our police dogs, Nitro, was on hand, and he was the hit. So that wraps up the month of June. There's not a ton to report, but I guess that's a good thing.
Any questions for Corporal Painter on this report or comments?
Just a question, Corporal. Just to advise the public, I just noticed 6 out of 7 impaired driving occurrences were from the public.
Yeah, we're
Does
called
it-
in from the public.
Yeah, from the public. Is there any tips for residents in the town of Stratford, or anybody coming through Stratford, if you're following impaired drivers, or anything the driver should, following the impaired driver, there's any tips for just following the driver and sort of calling in?
Yeah, so, I mean, the quicker we can get the call, the better, because it does take time to get through to dispatch, from the dispatch to get a hold of us. So if any time you suspect an impaired driver, suspicious person, anything that's happening, the quicker you can get on the phone, the better, for sure.
Yeah.
And then it gets to us, like, a lot of times we'll get these calls, but by the time we're dispatched, they're maybe out of our jurisdiction a little bit,
Yeah.
or a little farther out to reach. But yeah, just get on the phone as soon as you can. Our dispatcher will typically always say, if it's a dangerous situation, don't follow them, right? Don't put yourself in danger if that's the case. But no, I would recommend any call is a good call, whether no matter what it is. But please call us. We'd much rather get a call than not know about it and then try to deal with the aftermath of it, no matter what.
Just a vehicle, if it pulled off, say, in the Sobeys or Tim Hortons, it'd probably be a good suggestion is to keep an eye
For sure.
on the vehicle, stay back and stay with the vehicle and so on, and then call it in, maybe a plate number if they get a plate number.
Absolutely, yeah. Plate number, a description of the driver.
Yeah.
That's important too. So it's important to get the vehicle, but it's important to be able to put that person in the driver's seat at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can keep an eye on them safely and from a distance, and not put yourself or anybody else in harm's way in the meantime, that's important. We appreciate that for sure.
Thank you, Corporal.
Yeah, thank you.
I just had, did you?
No, you
have a
got
quick- It's twofold.
Sure.
One, there's a new type of electric dirt bike
Yes.
on the scene
That looks like a dirt bike.
that looks like a smaller dirt bike. It doesn't sound like a dirt bike. It sounds like an electric vehicle,
electric,
like
yeah.
it's whatever. They go fast.
They do.
And kids are on them, and they're in neighborhoods, they're on roads, et cetera. They are not a vehicle that should be driven around the streets, right?
No, as soon as an electric bike doesn't have pedals, it's no longer a bicycle,
Right.
right? It would then be considered a motorcycle, right? Which you could drive on the road if it was registered. So you're right, and we are starting to see more of those everywhere here. So,
But could like, and I'm making up scenarios, but like, could a 14-year-old drive one? Could a 15-year-old drive one
not on the
legally?
road, and the laws say you can't drive them on the sidewalk either, right? So, there's probably pits or something you can drive them in, but they're not to replace a bicycle.
Right.
Yes, to
Yes, I'm seeing
Be
those
clear.
now, and I'm shocked at how fast they go.
they fly.
Because I feel like over the last couple of years, just as a driver, to get used to the addition of e-bikes that are moving faster than a typical bike, and then another level of a scooter and that sort of thing, there's a lot of stimulus, like coming at you from any direction. And I know that you're very busy, and I know that we're doing our best and going to have the bike helmet clinic, but I beg drivers to be really, really aware, because what I'm seeing is kids possibly underage on scooters, and they are not as aware of their surroundings as perhaps an older, experienced driver is, and they may be on an active transportation trail that has a crosswalk, like, for example, across the entrance to Sobeys, or something like that, that they zip through where there's cars moving, or maneuvering through the roundabouts. And it's really, I think, takes all of us to be very aware. I saw them ride into the Stratford soccer complex the other day, so coming off the road right onto gravel. So I do fear that people are moving pretty fast on them, and in some cases, many cases, they're kids, and that we as drivers also have to be really on the ready and on the lookout for that extra added element when we're slowing down or coming to the roundabouts, et cetera, because they're there. They're everywhere.
It's a great point.
Thanks.
Just to add on to what Councillor Chandler said, would there be any way that they could, I forget the spokesperson's name from the RCMP that goes on Compass all the time, but to me that seems like a really good episode that should be done on Compass. Because a lot of parents just aren't aware. They think that if you're 14, it's a scooter,
Yes.
so you can use it. 14-year-olds use scooters. Like, I really think like that, it needs to get across the island, right? And even talking to Paul McNeil or talking to different people in the press, just to do a wide sweep of that. Like, it has to get out. You know, we could put it on social media page, on our page and stuff, but Compass reaches the most people, so might be a good thing. The question I was going to ask you is, what is the fine if you're caught distracted driving? What is the fine for
For
that?
the red flashing lights?
No,
Like for
say you're
us?
texting and driving, and you see somebody texting and driving, you pull them over.
I don't know right off the top of my head, but I know it's like a handful of points too. It's a significant charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers.
And there's another thing that public needs to be aware of, that it's a really significant charge, because I think a lot of times people think they're following a drunk driver. They're following somebody texting and driving.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
happens a lot
it
too.
does happen a lot.
Right? And texting and driving, studies have shown, is in a lot of cases more dangerous than a person blowing .09. You know, not saying .09 is good to do. Like, obviously that's don't do that either. But the texting and driving, taking your eyes totally down.
Right.
Right? And there's so many people doing it. Like,
Yeah.
it's incredible, the amount of people that do it. I just think that's awareness too, right? So.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, with the e-scooters and everything else and the helmet laws, it's time to come, provincial government, and getting together with the municipalities and create some kind of plan before something really, really seriously happens. It's just, I don't think Charlottetown has a plan. I know Halifax has a plan, enforcement-wise, and it's only, and the members here is, I mean, they're so busy, call after call, and, you know, it almost, it's got to be separate, like a public safety section to do the enforcement, you know, the work with the RCMP and so on. It's just a matter of time before a serious accident happens or somebody, I know Ronnie was talking about having the session there with Kenny Murnion and helmet safety. Like, there's a lady on TV there last week in Calgary, and she fell down, hit by a car. She's on the sidewalk on an e-scooter, and her side of her head is crushed and stuff like that, and she suffered a lot of consequences. And it's just a matter of, it's sad, but it's just a matter of time if hopefully the provincial government and the municipalities get together and try to education and enforcement and so on, because it's just kids there with no helmets on, and the speed they're going now, and they're improvising bikes to go fast, e-scooters to go faster, e-bikes to go faster than that they are, and it's getting larger and larger every year, and it's just a matter of time, and the police hear about it, but it's just they're swamped with their call after call. I mean, the files they have and the investigation it takes for them, and they might be able to attend 1 or 2 or 3 complaints, but the way the complaints are coming in, and it's just overwhelming for the RCMP or any police department to ascertain those complaints. But anyway, yeah, it could be FCMPEI be a good thing to bring up, right? Or, if we ever talked about with enforcing law, but with the e-scooters and so on, and it's just getting. I see it dangerous. Like in Charlottetown, I mean, there's 2 or 3 people on it. I just read in the news last week there was a male charged for impaired driving on one because it's an electric motorized vehicle. He would, the same as a golf cart. You can be charged for impaired driving the golf cart. So people, it's just growing and growing and growing, and then I feel like something seriously is going to happen, before we start enforcing stuff out of the police and whoever provincial government gets a hold of this. I know the Minister of Justice there would look at it too. So anyways, that's my comment.
Thank you. I think maybe we could ask that this Safety Services Committee take another look at this and maybe with the recommendation to look at or consider the idea of either changing our bylaw or looking at a new bylaw based on what other jurisdictions are doing with this kind of issue, some best practices or whatever, and maybe staff could also look at what the research is out there that how municipalities can deal with this, because it is becoming a dangerous situation, especially scooters on the sidewalks. I know they're not technically illegal, are they? I don't think.
It's, there's a lot of rules around it, and it is kind of confusing. So I do see how people get confused.
Yeah, so clarification of the rules might be something,
So
would be.
We had a really good chat at the Safety Services meeting for 15 or 20 minutes probably about electric scooters and bikes and such. So it's just going to be one of those things where everything takes a lot of time to kind of put it in place, right? So you're right, like the sooner we can all get on the same page
And they didn't have such widespread adoption before, right? It was just like a couple kids or this or that, but now it's like more prevalent.
Yes.
But the easiest thing, as we had mentioned last meeting, they're not allowed on sidewalks.
Scooters aren't.
Scooters are
No,
not
no,
on
okay.
sidewalks, they're not allowed. And the only people permitted to ride bicycles,
Under
for example,
12.
right, are 12 and under on sidewalks. So anyone riding a scooter is not allowed, like on a sidewalk, is like, that's against our policies. And even if you were 12 years old, you are not old enough to legally drive a scooter, so you're still breaking the law. So yeah, like there's no, it's clear, it's just that we choose to maybe, like, it's easier to not.
complicate it maybe.
Right, but it's also very terrifying, like, to ride a scooter on the road.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if it's a shoulder or just a white line with a, like, 2 foot or whatever, so there's opportunities.
And we're fortunate because in Stratford, a lot of our roads are wide enough where they could do that. They just choose to drive on the sidewalk, I guess.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that, people can even alter their e-bikes to go faster than 34 kilometers an hour. Even 34 kilometers an hour is fairly fast on a sidewalk with, especially if there's anybody else on the sidewalk or on on the multi-use trail. So anyway, it's the kind of thing that I think needs to be looked at and see what other what jurisdictions are doing and maybe look at the bylaw and see if what we've got is adequate to deal with the changing situation and go from there, because it is something that we want to keep our residents safe and their children safe. So anything we can do to improve that, and coordination with you and with the province, with the RCMP and with the province, to coordinate all the activities to make sure all the things we're doing, initiatives to make sure that we can have a strong, but still allow kids to be kids, but not to go 70 miles, 60 kilometers an hour on an e-bike on a sidewalk.
Yeah, what I'm saying, all due respect, worship, jurisdictions are doing nothing. Charlottetown, there's no enforcement there at all. They have a private company in there, and they're all over the town there. There's no, I don't know what's going to happen legality-wise. If something gets serious here in Charlottetown, maybe the company that is well insured and so on, but as far as enforcement, their arms are tied to it because of all the call volume, same as the RCMP here in Stratford and all across the island. Everybody. What we have to do is sit down with the province, and the province is going to meet with the RCMP and the City Police, Kensington, Summerside, and have a game plan here. And education-wise, I know when I was here years ago, I was on bike patrol. We enforced it on bike patrol. That sort of died off. A person would get a ticket and then went to an education session, and that ticket was canceled. But most of them, there was a $150, $175 fine. And that plan just went off the wayside because of the call volume. The call volume increased every year as towns grow and grow and grow, and Charlottetown's growing, Charleston's growing call volume, and they want the RCMP or the city police. So it's just a matter of, it's not talking to other jurisdictions, it's a matter of getting a game plan together and talking to provincial government and talking to Jill and Jen and the Minister of Justice to get something going and start a pilot project or something to start and maybe, you don't want you don't want to have $180,000, $200,000 member on a bicycle enforcing e-scooter tickets. And while they can do something else, you just you want to be able to work with the police and have somebody in public safety. You could have a bylaw officer, you could have a public safety officer, some kind that could enforce those laws and work with people. And it's
Okay,
it's just yeah.
we'll
But the
take
way
up
that
the-
our town is growing, I just see it. Probably it's a pet peeve in me. I'm sorry, Jill, you brought it up. But I mean, I just see how things, education-wise, kids are going out the door, no helmets on, going flying 30, 40 kilometers an hour, and they don't know what's going to happen to them. And Dr. Janes talks about emergency services over outpatients at QEH. They're all coming in there with broken ankles, broken arms, and so on, and bad head injuries. It's just, I don't know why we don't get together, the province and the police departments, Charlottetown, Kensington, Summerside, and the RCMP, and try to have a game plan here, try to sit down and do something. Maybe we look at it in the fall, but as far as jurisdictions they're not doing that much because they're just overwhelmed with calls, the RCMP and the police, Summerside, and so on. It's just you're doing investigations. A theft file takes 3 hours to do investigation at, so you're just going from call to call, and it's just a matter of something going to happen seriously before something going to be done here, and say it that way.
Your Worship, that was brought up at the Safe Service Committee, and we did have fairly extensive discussions, and a lot of those ideas that were brought up by yourself and Councillor Glant and others are being looked at by Safety Service Committee and Director Woodard, including jurisdictional scan to see what other municipalities are doing to help curtail what's really a sudden rise in e-bikes. They've been around for a while, but it's within the last year that they really became so prevalent and came to a younger age group. When you consider some of these are anywhere from $1,500 to $3,500, you see a 14-year-old going on. I would have loved to have had one when I was 14 years old, but that wasn't going to happen. It wasn't around then, of course, but anyway, I wouldn't have got one if it was. Education, and I know staff are already working on that. We have it on our sign coming across the bridge encouraging parents to look into the laws around e-bikes. We're doing social media stuff. We're having our clinic in conjunction with Off the Walls in Glenmurnion. And we'd encourage anyone on shift, Corporal Painter, if they're free on the Saturday the 18th, to just drop by and say hello. So we will continue that from a Safety Services Committee perspective, and we will, and as Councillor Glant mentioned, you know, it's something that perhaps FPEIM might be engaged with, because the issue is going to become increasingly more prevalent in many respects over the next while. And while you know, bikes can't be on sidewalks unless they're 12 or under, they can be on the active transportation trails, and people still walk on those. So we have to work with the province, and I'm sure our provincial legislators are getting plenty of calls as well. And you know, we have to look at it perhaps from a Highway Traffic Act perspective, if not, or in conjunction with municipal bylaws that are consistent around the province. But education amongst parents and parents to their children is very important. It's a parent's responsibility as to whether their children are riding their bike in accordance with our bylaw, and whether or not they're wearing a helmet. And God help them if they get into an accident going 30 kilometers an hour with no helmet. I fear the worst for them. And you know, after the fact, it's difficult to say woulda, coulda, shoulda, but now's the time for parents to sit down and have a good heart-to-heart with their whatever kids are riding e-bikes, and adults included. They're not all children. You see a lot of adults going with them as well, and some of them not wearing helmets. But anyway, that is something the committee's looking at, and we're not meeting over the course of the summer, but I know staff will continue to encourage and educate, and Dr. Woodard will continue to gather information during that time. So, as Councillor Lance said, maybe in the fall we'll be better positioned to address the issue in a more fulsome capacity.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Corporal Painter? Thank you, Corporal.
I do want to say, I want to thank the RCMP for two specific initiatives that you mentioned, the barbecue at Glen Stewart and the fraud and scam lunch and learn that was presented. I think those initiatives like that are something that really mean a lot to me personally, but also to the community as a whole. Provides that awareness and that presence and that visibility that I think is much appreciated. So thanks very much for that.
Yeah, thank you.
And for all you do. So thanks a lot.
No, I totally agree, Worship, too, the work and the volunteerism, and I always commented, and Corporal Painter took the lead here, and the community-based policing is great concerns for us. We always talked about it, and it's proven now and ever, like, it's really great to see, and especially July 1st, and it was nice down there when you were down there with the flag, and then everybody had attention, and of course, O'Canada was sang by Jill. It was great day there, and went over really, really well, and just stand there and looking around and see how proud we are of our country, and how everybody's a Canadian, and it was really nice to see there with the RCMP colors and Jill singing O'Canada, and it was really nice, and going back to work you do, and you know it's hard. Some days you're doing your days off, and it's great to see that, and we're trying. But I'll tell you one thing: you have 100% support from all councillors here. It's great.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thanks. Good team effort.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Corporal Painter. Don't have a report for the Humane Society, Your Worship, unless there's any questions anyone has. The Director may be able to address them. No, then we'll move on to item E, Fire Company report. The full report has been included in the package. Calls for the month of June were down considerably, with 10 in total, 8 of which were in Stratford. And there is a mix in relation to those calls, but are there any questions in relation to the fire report as circulated?
I just want to say that I really appreciated having the fire company and the new fire truck at the July 1st celebrations. I think on a hot day to have all those guys down there, all those guys and ladies, girls, it was just great to see the, the whole troop there and in their uniforms and with this ladder truck and making it publicly available for people to look at and everything. It was just great.
Yeah,
So
no, I
thanks
see a
for
lot
that.
of kids walking around gleefully with their little fire helmets on, and
yeah.
maybe some future firefighters in the making.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and we just had our AGM there recently as well with the fire company, and things are going well with the company overall. And we're very fortunate to have the fire company that we do have, and the committed individuals, and the professionalism with our chief and deputy chief is just raising the whole service to a whole new level.
Yeah.
So we're very fortunate as a community and surrounding communities.
Councillor, I spoke to the fire chief and I said, your flag's a little small. He says, what do you mean small? He said, compared to Just Joe's on the highway there. He said, well, next year we got to be a little bigger than Just Joe's. So he was sort of taken back by it. But it was great to see Justin Joe's there. They put the big flag up, and then, of course, the flag down on the T-Hill there was nice to see.
Yeah, and that fire truck, Your Worship, and when you see it up close, it's a whole lot different from the pictures. It's certainly an impressive machine.
Oh, yeah.
And very impressive even standing parked next to the old ladder truck. You can see the increases and advances in technology just very glaringly. Okay, there's no other questions, Your Worship. I'll move on to item F, which is a resolution. It's resolution number SS 002-2026, noise and nuisance bylaw exemption, 34 Owen Lane. Stemming from the Safety Services Committee, moved by myself. Whereas the residents of 34 Owen Lane are hosting a wedding on July 31st, 2026 on their property and have requested an exemption from the noise and nuisance bylaw to allow the reception to continue until 1 a.m. And whereas pursuant to Section 5, Noise and Nuisance Bylaw, Council may approve an application for an exemption from any provisions of the bylaw. And whereas the applicant has contacted the immediate property owners to inform them of the event, and whereas the applicant has requested to use the parking lot at Kepik Park as off-site parking, where vehicles may be left overnight, and has arranged for a shuttle service to transport guests to and from the reception, and whereas the Recreation Department has approved overnight parking at Kepik Park, provided all vehicles are removed by 9 a.m. on August 1st, 2026, and whereas as suggested by the fire chief, it has been confirmed that an event tent will be in use and will be equipped with proper fire suppression equipment for safety purposes. And whereas both the Stratford RCMP and the Stratford Citizens on Patrol representatives were present at the committee meeting for discussion, and where both entities will be reminded of the event and terms and conditions under which the event will be conducted prior to the date of the event. Be it resolved that an exemption from the noise and nuisance bylaw be hereby granted for a wedding reception being held at 34 Owen Lane on July 31st, 2026 until 1 a.m. on August 1st, 2026, based on the terms herein. This resolution bears a recommendation of the Safety Services Committee as discussed at a meeting held on June 15th, 2026.
Okay, do I have a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Oh, seconder.
I'll just
Councilor McConnell.
comment, Your Worship, initially, this is not something new to council. Does occur periodically, and it's a fairly arduous process that the applicants have to go through in order to get to the point of resolution, and I support the resolution.
Okay, any other comments before we vote?
No, it's, I agree with Councillor Dowling. It's a nice occasion, and I always like seeing people do things the right way, so certainly I'm in support of it too, yeah.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carried.
Okay, just in conclusion, Your Worship, I want to give thanks to all of our hardworking staff for the fabulous Canada Day that was put on. To Councillor Chandler for her wonderful rendition and her Canada and her MC duties.
Yeah.
The day went flawless. It was, from our perspective anyway, I'm sure from staff's perspective, it was an extremely busy day. You kind of have it, it's easy to overlook all that's goes into it and all the hard work that's done when you're just there to view rather than to be a part of the arrangements and the setup and the execution and the tear down. But I give my thanks to staff. It's so many residents had an extremely enjoyable day, with their kids and themselves as adults. So, yeah, we're all very appreciative.
Thank you, Councillor. That's a great segue to our next item, Recreation, Culture and Events Committee Chair, Councillor Gordy Cox. I'll ask him to give his report.
Thank you, Mayor. This month, I'd like to highlight 3 key areas. First, the successful transition into summer programming. Second, the strong response to Canada Day at the T Hill Park, which we just talked about. And 3, the exciting public art initiatives that will be taking place over the upcoming weeks. First of all, Youth Center. Youth Center has transitioned into a summer schedule. Leadership Club, Garden Club, Youth Council continue to operate throughout the summer. Summer camp is off to a great start with 9 out of 10 weeks are actually at full capacity. 25 campers per week. Staffed by 5 full-time and 1 casual employee. So nice to see that's up and going again, and also, once again, a big success. Leadership Club is operating the T Hill Park Snack Shack this summer. It's open from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Youth are managing the canteen as a fundraising and leadership initiative. A 5-member youth management committee oversees daily operations, which, like we said, will be open from 12 to 8. Approximately 50 youth are expected to participate in the annual Magic Mountain Volunteer Recognition Trip, which will be held on July 14th. So some of the money that's raised from the canteen and other initiatives will obviously help as students prepare for the trip. Recreation programs, stronger participation continues in Let's Get Creative Youth Art, tennis programs, co-ed volleyball, co-ed badminton, full body fitness classes, and nice to see those programs up and running. Events, Canada Day at T Hill Park was a great success, as we just talked about. We had great weather, and there was obviously another very big turnout, and the weather did cooperate. So it looked like it wasn't going to, but it did. So we received very positive feedback on location, particularly the accessible beach, playground, shaded areas, and family-friendly atmosphere, and there was lots of parking. Staff are now focused on upcoming events. On July 25th, there will be the Pride Parade. On July 26th, Tide and the Pride. And on September 26th and 27th, it is our Fall Fest. Under Arts and Culture, Phase 2 of the Fairy Trail continues with additional artwork and carvings. The much-anticipated T Hill mural will be painted July 20th to the 31st. The mural concept will be presented to Council for approval in early July. A community mural unveiling is planned for July 31st. And interest in the August 1st mural mentorship workshop has been very strong, with numerous applications received. So lots going on between Youth Center and recreation programs and other events and upcoming events, as well as public art. So still a lot happening here in Stratford, so it's great to see. So, and thank you, Rachel, for this report. That's my report.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I just want to mention also that it was a great July 1st celebration, and congratulations and thanks to everyone that was concerned, that worked so hard on that. As Councillor Dowling said, so many things that happen behind the scenes that we're not aware of that is just it's like electricity. It just happens, and it's there. And if it's not, if something isn't there, then you really notice it. But it was just flawless. It was great.
Like for me personally, this is the first one I missed in 4 years. But as I'm preparing for 2 weddings this summer, There was a family outing on that day, so, and.
Family
can't be-
comes first, yeah.
Can't be in two places at once, and,
That's right, yeah.
but anyway, I certainly, miss not being there, and I know everybody loves the way I dish out ice cream, especially Wendy, and, where is she? Anyway.
Yeah, she's so upset. She left.
I was the only person that's been corrected every year. I'm not scooping it right or something, so anyway, that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Thanks for your report. I'd just like to mention as part of this report as well that Alex Newson of Stratford was a member of the FIBA America's Cup silver winning. They won the silver cup at the FIBA America's Cup. It's the under-18 national team, so it's quite an accomplishment for a young person like that.
Basketball.
So congratulations to Alex.
Oh, Mayor, I did forget one thing. After the passing of Forby Kennedy, I actually took the book off the shelf, and I planned on reading it anyway. I was just saying I got so many other books I'm trying to get through, but I started to read the book, and as soon as I get into the book, I found this. This actually come up in the early pages, and it said that basically talked about our own Jeremy Pierce and his involvement with that book. It said Jeremy Pierce, Municipal Sports Facility Administrator, was one of the people that urged the author to write this book. And he also said that Jeremy chaired over 40 meetings with both the book committee and banquet committee and kept all aspects of the complex project in focus. He was dedicated volunteer, impressed us all by his commitment to seeing this book process through to the very end and for his leadership. And it also said that thanks to Bob Pierce, Jeremy's dad, an accredited genealogist, for providing us with Forby's family genealogy.
That's
so
great.
Nice to see, in the book that Jeremy got recognized well as his dad, and I wasn't sure if we were aware of that here, so.
That's great. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. Okay, any other comments or questions on the recreation report?
Comments from everybody, how July 1st was great, and all the work behind the scenes, Rachel and staff, and all our infrastructure committee or workers. It was nice to see a lot of comments going back down the T Hill, rather good positive comments, and I guess everything's there, and the events itself, like Melanie and I guess Rachel put it together. There are different events all the time, which is nice to see, and different cultures and different events coming, and people very positive, talking to the crowd and inside there, and there's very positive comments about the waterfront and the beach itself and the cool breeze and so on, and of course with Jill with Old Canada was very tremendous, and then with everything else in place there, and I just looked at this tonight. The Stratford Youth Center talked about their canteen down there. Is that's in a big large clubhouse down there, like the large? Oh yeah, they always have that there every year. This is the first year. Second year, yeah. Okay. This is what a great idea, and I even looked like even Kinloch Beach. If you ever thought about Kinloch Beach, I know I've been driving around here lately in Stratford, and I noticed how busy the beach is. I was thinking of a small canteen down there for a fundraising. Maybe they wanted to go down there and put a little tiny home down there on wheels, and put a canteen and a little kitchen and so on, just for fundraising. Yeah. Could happen, but anyways, I noticed the beach is really active down there. A lot of people going down and don't want to drive a half an hour to the other beaches and in the water. So it's nice to see. But great work around there. You guys don't go unnoticed. I mean, after everything, you think about a great email, and Jeff had a great email sent there to staff, and then Steve put one out, and everybody put it out, and it was always, we're pretty proud of the staff that we have and the work to do behind the scenes, and the residents. Of course, the residents always come over to us, and the ice cream went pretty quick, and the strawberries, and it was great to see. And
That's because you were serving it to dogs.
But anyways, but anyway, compliments all the way around. I think you don't go unappreciated. I always appreciate it. And July 1st, I always look forward to it, and it's nice to see.
Can I add one comment to that? And I'll
Sure.
be concise. The one thing that we haven't mentioned, and everyone knows how thankful I am and how successful that event was, is that the grounds have been returned to their original purpose of green space, right? So it's opened back up again. The cricket pitch is not happening there. So you may not have been aware, but when you walked through it, you could access it all, which was really nice.
Yeah.
A nice feature. Is
Yeah.
that right? It is still there, but it wasn't that day. And it was, and we know that there is, it will be moving at a point. So sorry if I'm advancing that information. I think we were already aware of that.
I think
But
that-
it was nice to see this space in its kind of
Yeah.
free form again. And it made me, yeah, was very accessible, and I think it will serve its function, as will the new field, and serve all the
That is an
purposes.
important point, though. I appreciate you bringing that up, because contrary to the CBC article, we will be consolidating all cricket activities down at the community campus, and that space that's now used for cricket at T Hill will not be, will be used for other purposes, other recreational purposes. So,
Eventually, yeah.
yeah, after the new cricket field opens, yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry if I misspoke.
Okay, thank you all for your comments. Any other comments with regard to the Recreation, Culture, and Events report? Okay, thank you, Councillor Cox. We'll now move on to the next two items. Finance and Technology, Planning, Development, Heritage are both chaired by Councillor Jeff McDonald. So I'll first ask him to give the Finance and Technology report, and then the Planning, Development, and Heritage report.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. So with respect to finance, another steady month for the Finance Committee. Two highlights from finance is that they successfully undertook, or I guess this is more of a townwide initiative, they successfully undertook to fill the vacancy at our front desk administrative clerk position. Happy to welcome Sierra Cannell to the town staff. They are certainly on our admin team the first people that most of our residents see when they come in to do town business, and they always do a great job. And I have no doubt that Sierra will quickly become a very valued member of our team, so welcome, Sierra. The other item of note, I would say, at this point in time is that our finance staff have finished their work on site with our auditors. Always a rather onerous task. It's always you finish tax season, then right after that you got to jump right back in and deal with the audits, and so certainly big appreciation to Kim and all of her team and Crystal for getting that turned around so quickly, and then we will look forward to the audit report usually sometime mid-fall. So unless there's any other questions for the finance department, that would be the highlights of the finance report for this past month. Okay, thank you. Hearing nothing, we'll move on to agenda item number 12, which is the Planning, Development, and Heritage, as noted by His Worship. I will begin with our building summary. So of note, and I certainly appreciate always the up-to-date figures that we get from our planning department. You'll note year-to-date development value from January 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2025 was some $13 million, close to $14 million, I'll say. And then for this calendar year, we're at just under 36 million in terms of total development. So things are certainly booming in Stratford, there can be no doubt. And this is positive mostly because year over year, through our surveys and through our resident engagement and through the feedback that we receive as councillors, people enjoy living in this community, but they expect more from this community in the form of amenities and services. And to see the hard work that our planning staff does in getting so many applications turned around and bringing in some $36 million worth of development, it's a whole town initiative. And when we see that kind of number, that tells us that we're on the right track in terms of securing the things that our residents are requesting from this municipality. So it's a great sign. We're on the right track. We have a very, I'm going to suggest, healthy development mix between commercial, residential, and multi-unit residential, as well as a healthy amount of institutional development as well. So we are becoming certainly a fully featured town, and the numbers prove that. We have a few resolutions for your consideration this evening. The first resolution is found at 12C of your agenda package. It's PH 010-2026, DP 065-25, from Francis Terrio Ventures Incorporated, contemplating a special permit use at 26 Hollis Avenue, which is an auto detailing business. This resolution is moved by myself as Chair of Planning and Development. Reads as follows. Whereas an application has been received from Francis Terrio Ventures Incorporated to operate an auto detailing business at Unit 1, 26 Hollis Avenue, which is a special permit use within the business park zone. Whereas pursuant to section 13.5.1 sub B under our bylaw of zoning development, council shall ensure the property owners within 61 meters of the subject property were notified in writing and asked to provide comments and ensure that a public meeting be held to allow residents to provide their input. And whereas notification of this proposed special permit use was dealt with in accordance with that zoning bylaw, to the 4 adjacent landowners were sent notification, as well as notices were posted on our Facebook page. And whereas a public meeting for this proposed development was held on June 23rd, 2026, with 2 people in attendance and no written comments were submitted to the town, be it resolved then that an application from Francis Terrio Ventures Incorporated to operate an auto detailing business located at 41 Hollis Avenue as a special permit use within the business park zone is approved, subject to the following conditions. 1, this development shall not interfere with the parking requirements of other users of the lot on which the development will be located. A new floor drain with an oil separator be installed in Unit 1 for this development. There must not be any outdoor storage of goods or products related to this proposed business, notwithstanding customers' vehicles. This permit is only for a change of use of Unit 1 in the existing multi-unit building. If a new structure is required for this business, then a separate development permit is required. And 5, that all other relevant provisions of our zoning development bylaw are followed. That is the resolution, Your Worship.
Okay. Bears the recommendation of the Planning Development
Yes,
Heritage
thank you, I
Committee.
appreciate
Yeah.
that, yes, it does.
And you're moving it, yeah. So do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councilor Chandler. Okay, any discussion?
You do have a planner's report found in your agendas package. Just want to, yes, there it is, okay. So what I would suggest is that it generally meets all of our requirements for planning in the community. We had a good discussion with it at Planning Committee itself. Some of the concerns were noted were the fact that there are childcare centers located within the other units within that multi-unit building. So we wanted to really make sure that there was going to be issues with respect to traffic, with respect to a lot of cars being parked in and around the area, with respect to noise. And so really what it came down to was this is a single bay detailing. They're not going to be doing they're not going to be doing heavy auto body work. They're not going to be doing heavy mechanic work. It's essentially cleaning cars inside and out. And it was on that basis that Planning Committee did grant it its recommendation for approval. They are aware that they do have to install specialized equipment within the drain to make sure that there's not going to be any environmental hazards as a result of their operation. There are outdoor storage units associated with the multi-unit building, and certainly they will have access to it, but it's understood that they can't have vehicles lying around. They have to comply with the parking requirements of that multi-unit building. And certainly when we had the public meeting, the proponents of the application were very aware of this. They understood it, and they certainly want to see it be a successful part of that area in the town. So subject to any questions, those would be the comments that have been received from planning staff as well as the Planning Committee, Your Worship. And so certainly I'll be voting in approval for it.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
Jeff, or Dale, is it the end of the building, Dale? The end, the daycare is the front, right?
The bay where the daycare or the operation will be situated is at the very end of the building
Yeah.
from the road.
Yeah.
And the other point to make as well is that the daycare is fenced in too, so it'll contain the children safely.
Yeah, yeah. So the building, they're at the end, and there's another building at the end here too, right? At the end.
There's a small building at the
Yeah.
end, but there's storage area in there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's storage?
Yep.
Okay, yep.
Okay, any other comments or questions?
I think this is a good use for the business park, opens up another business within the community and enables people looking for that detail work to be done to get it done in Stratford. It's not a high volume traffic business. Typically you'd have 1 or 2 cars at any given point in time. to be worked on. So I don't think there's going to have any negative impact, and certainly wouldn't provide any more traffic than any other business in the area. And as Councillor McDonald pointed out, the environmental issues would be addressed as well from a safety perspective. So I'm in support of the resolution.
Just to add to that, we're going in, add more traffic, and plus there's going to be a subdivision going up down Hollis. Future down the road, I know it's my ward. It's you're talking Joe Zark and Myrtle Street and so on, Hollis. It's almost like talking to people inside a business park. They're looking to question a sign, a three-way sign. Coming out of that business park and turn left, it's a high traffic area, and I think in the future, going down the road, we'll probably talk to Jeannie, talk to the province, and look at a three-way stop there or so on, because people going into Myrtle, coming out of Myrtle, turn left towards the funeral home and are going towards Stratford. It's dangerous. That whole corner is with the business park, the lots we're going to be selling, and then Hollis. That road straight, the other roads can connect to Reeves Estates, so it's going to be a busy area at future.
Okay, any other comments or questions? All right, with that, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carried.
Thank you. Our next resolution is at 12D. It is PH 011-2026, DP 076-25 from APM Commercial, looking for a special permit use at 14 Irving Avenue, PID 610550, being a car wash. This is a request for a public meeting. It's moved by myself as Chair of Planning, Development, and Heritage, and the resolution reads as follows. Whereas an application has been received from APM Commercial to construct an automotive-related use, being a car wash at 14 Irving Avenue, which is a special permit use within the Mason Road Commercial Zone. And whereas pursuant to Section 13.5.1 sub B in our zoning and development bylaw, Council shall ensure that property owners within 61 meters of the subject property are notified in writing and asked to provide their comments, and ensure that a public meeting be held to allow residents to provide their input before making a decision. Be it resolved that a public meeting be held on a date to be determined by staff and the Planning, Development, and Heritage Committee in order to provide an opportunity for the applicant to present the proposed use to residents and obtain their input regarding the special permit use. This resolution bears the recommendation of the Planning, Development, and Heritage Committee discussed at a meeting held on June 29th, 2026.
Thank you. Seconder? Thank you, Councillor Cox. Okay, discussion.
Respectfully, not much to say at this point. This is just a requirement for a public meeting, so that's a requirement under our bylaw. The decision for council at this point is whether if we deny the resolution, that's essentially the end of it, and I don't see really any basis to do so. So that would be my comments on your worship.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions? All right, call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carried.
This is where the stonework is right now? Stonework?
No.
Anyways.
It's on Irving, yeah, just
Well,
across the road.
you know, I mean, if you, like, under 12D, just so for the information, if you look at under 12D, you have the
Oh, okay, I see.
the site plan there, but, so it's just, it's close to there anyways, yeah. All right, 12E, number PH 012-2026, this is the disposition of assets request from Manny and Margaret Bueno and others at PID 104-5210, adjacent to Martindale Crescent. This is moved by myself as Chair of Planning, Development, and Heritage. And the resolution reads as follows. Whereas a letter was received from Manny and Margaret Bueno, owners of PID 1081025, which is 17 Georgetown Road, expressing interest in purchasing a portion of town-owned land on PID 104-5210, adjacent to Martindale Crescent. Whereas this subject 0.15 acre parcel of land was obtained by the town when Martindale Crescent was created as part of the Strawberry Hill subdivision back in 2010. Whereas the land was left in its natural state as grassland, but given its size and shape, the town's recreation department has determined that it is not suitable for use as a public park. Whereas, given the shape and location of land, there are two adjacent properties, PIDs 863209 and 1035898, whose property owners were contacted by the town and expressed interest in acquiring and appending a portion of the subject property to their respective properties. And whereas, in accordance with policy number 29, disposition of assets as follows: buildings and land. All town-owned land and building sales must be authorized by resolution of the town council. Before any buildings or land are sold, the said building or land shall be appraised by a qualified authority. In addition, a survey of all surplus land must be prepared by a registered land surveyor prior to any sale. Whereas John Ives, a realtor with Century 21, provided an appraisal of the subject property and its division into 3 estimated parcels at the following values. Portion adjacent to PID 1081025, $4,326 at $2 per square foot. Portion adjacent to PID 863209, $8,092 at $2 per square foot. And portion adjacent to PID 1035898, $323 at $1 per square foot. Be it resolved that approval be granted to the sale of parcel number 1045210, owned by the town of Stratford, to Manny and Margaret Bueno and others, in accordance with policy number 29, disposition of assets, subject to the following conditions: that the subject property be appraised by a qualified authority, that a plan of survey showing the subdivision of subject land and its consolidation with the applicable adjacent properties be prepared by a registered land surveyor licensed to practice in the province of Prince Edward Island, that a purchase and sale agreement be prepared by the town solicitor and executed between the town of Stratford and each of the 3 subject adjoining property owners, and that the purchase and sale agreements, the property appraisals, and the plans of survey be registered at the Queens County Land Registry Office. This request for the disposition of assets was discussed at the Town's Committee of the Whole meeting held June 24th, 2026. And I also should say as well, at, I believe, Planning Committee. So, that is the resolution, Your Worship.
Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Dowling. Thank you. Okay, discussion.
So what might be of assistance is if, for everyone's information, if PH 012-2026, number 4, the preliminary lot map can be pulled up, and so you can have an idea of the land in question and how it's going to be split up. So it might be a little hard to see, but the blue shaded area is the land in question that's owned by the town. As you can tell from it, it's really not of much use to anybody based upon its dimensions. And so you'll see 3 little sun, I guess, icons there. Each one represents a subdivision of this lot, which would be then sold to the 3 lot owners adjacent to each of these parcels. So really what it'll do is it will increase their lot sizes, not appreciably or anything like that, but certainly it's of value to them. And really, for us as the town, we really have no use whatsoever for it. So it certainly is in line with our policy. We've done the work. I think it's a fair price, and certainly I am not one to go behind Mr. Ives, who is a qualified appraiser. And so certainly I would support this resolution, Your Worship.
Okay, any other comments or questions? All right, call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carried. Okay,
And I believe that concludes both finance as well as planning for this month, Your Worship.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll now move on to infrastructure. I'll ask Deputy Mayor Steve Gallant to give his report.
Oh, thank you, Your Worship. Infrastructure Department, July 8th, 2026. Staff continue to be busy coordinating with consultants and contractors on the various projects underway throughout the town and preparing for new projects and initiatives as approved in the 26-27 budget. Funding has been received through the municipal strategic component of the Build Community Strong Fund for the Sachem Sewer Lift Station upgrades and the Cable Heights Water Station upgrades. As the design work is complete for Sachem project, we will be issuing a tender in the next few weeks to begin the work this construction season. The work includes upgrading the mechanical and electrical components, adding a generator, and decommissioning the Aptos Sewer Lift Station. An RFP will be prepared for the design component of the Cable Heights project, which include replacing well pumps with new, upgrading the interior water piping to stainless steel, upgrading mechanical and electrical components, and adding a generator. Infrastructure staff have been busy with the following: the grass cutting in parks and town properties, utility sites and sports fields, ongoing buildings, properties, and equipment maintenance, planning, annual flowers throughout the town, beautification throughout Stratford Emergency Center, which looks nice, completing water tanks, installation of work truck for the horticulture team to water plants, speed hump installs, and speed studies continue with humps currently installed on Emily Drive, Heron Drive, Kelly Heights, Harlan View Drive, McDonald Road, Brookside Drive, Holland Drive, East River Drive. Preparing and issue a new snow clearing contractor tender. Bylaw enforcement in conjunction with the contractor, completing workplace harassment and violence prevention training as required for all staff members. It was nice to see. Probably led through by HR, our department. Gene, yep. And preparing for disconnects as a result of notices issued for payment in arrears. Second quarter meter reads were completed and bills are being prepared. Deficiency tours of new infrastructure projects, water and sewer inspections, meter installations, and water turn-ons for new development are ongoing. Daily inspection and maintenance of water and sewer systems and facilities, and managing ongoing customer resident inquiries and concerns. During the month of June, there was no sewer lateral blockage and 2 water leaks and 2 requiring repair.
There's one sewer lateral blockage.
One?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and I see, just out around too, I see the bylaw officers warning people about cutting their lawns. I see the bylaw officer, I see a couple of notices on doors at some of the residents, and it was nice to see them out, and it's just advising people to get the grass cut and just to keep it as short as they possibly can, and it's nice to see the bylaw taking that initiative.
Okay, thank you for your report, Deputy Mayor. Any comments or questions on Deputy Mayor's report? Okay, if not, thank you for your report, Deputy Mayor. We'll now move on to Committee of the Whole, and we do have a resolution. I'm going to ask our a person responsible for business in our town, the chair of the Sustainability Committee, Councillor Jill Chandler, to move the resolution, if she would.
Yes, of course. It is Resolution CW 005-2026, appointment of CADC Board Member Representative, and it is brought forward by the Committee of the Whole and moved by myself. Whereas the bylaws of the Charlottetown Area Development Corporation, CADC, require the annual appointment of the corporation's directors at the annual general meeting, and whereas Michael Fleischman, as our current representative, has requested to be replaced, and whereas Don Binns is a member of the town's Sustainability Committee and has agreed to serve as the town's Stratford representative, be it resolved that Don Binns be hereby appointed as the town's representative on the CADC board until the next annual meeting.
Thank you. Seconder? Seconder. Councillor Jeff McDonald. Okay, discussion. I just want to say that Michael Fleischman has really served our community well. I know we had our CADC annual general meeting yesterday, and everyone around the table was very appreciative of and complimentary about the work that Michael did as part of our town, as a town representative. He's a lawyer, and he really did a great job, and I know that Don Binns will be really good as well. So I just want to thank Michael Fleischman for his service to our community, and also thank Don Binns for putting her name, agreeing to be our representative. So, any other comments or questions?
Yeah, I'll just second what you say, Your Worship, about Mr. Fleischman. He certainly has been there for quite a while, and has always been a good community member to step up on committees. But Ms. Binns will be excellent in the role as a CADC representative. She's been on planning before, always offered very practical and insightful, I guess, commentary. So I think it's a great pick, and look forward to having her there.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Those against? Motion carried. Thank you, Councillor Chandler. We'll now move on to sustainability. You also chair that committee, so I'll ask Councillor Chandler to give her report for sustainability.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm not quite ready here. We'll just do some quick updates. The business community update. There was a business mixer in June, and I think we spoke about that one, did we? At our last meeting, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, there were about 15 people attended. Oh, okay. And there were drop-ins, council members, our member of parliament, Kent McDonald, was there, as well as our MLA, Jen Redmond. It was well-received by those in attendance. And on June 23rd, Wendy tagged along with Bianca McGregor, who's the CEO of the Greater Charlottetown Chamber of Commerce, for their annual member drop-in, and together they visited about 20 businesses here in Stratford to say hello, listen to any concerns about their business, and deliver some goodies. So great job to Wendy in all the efforts that she's making, and then like have been added, I guess, to her portfolio in regards to these business engagement events and site visits, et cetera. So thank you for that. And I think that the business community mixers or various events will pause for the summer, and then they resume in the fall. So that we'll look forward to. Community tree planting event for Canada Day. So on June 30th, the town co-hosted a community tree planting event with the Stratford Area Watershed Improvement Group at Fullerton's Creek. And there were, oh wow, coupons for ice cream and everything. I wasn't there. I was like, oh, there was ice cream? Sorry, I was distracted there. Anyway, it was a huge success, and there was 159 trees, is that right? Planted for the 159th anniversary of Confederation. So that is a great success. As far as summer tree planting work, 4 summer staff are busy working, planting trees in our town, and they're on track to plant 154 large trees and 2,500 smaller trees by the end of the summer, which is, like, that's pretty significant. And we'll all benefit from that. And then in regards to the Diversity and Inclusion Subcommittee, the committee has not met since the last council meeting. However, Mayor Ogden and Wendy Watts had a follow-up meeting with the CIF PEI, which is the Francophone group, as you mentioned earlier, Mayor Ogden, and that concludes the sustainability report.
Thank you. Yeah, I think also the radio campaign is really, I really think that's a great success. The fact that, you know, it's on quite often, and it really highlights businesses in our community. A lot of people have commented to me about how much you know, they notice that, so that's great.
Radio works, even when I'm not working on it. Would you like me to move on to the transit graph?
That'd be great,
Okay.
yeah. No other comments or questions on sustainability?
Yeah, we're just looking at the trees there, 159 trees at Fuller's Marsh. It was nice, since I come on council, how the park itself has changed, and with the growth of trees, and walking down there and the compliments people talk about how the row of trees and the shade and so on. It's great to see, and different bird boxes and stuff like that, putting with Sow Week and so on. It was nice to see everybody stepping up and volunteering and getting an ice cream and planting a tree. I know years ago we planted some fruit trees down, different fruit trees, with a bunch of fruit trees, which is nice down the center, right?
The one you planted died.
Yeah. But anyways, it was nice to see the park how come together, and every year it's developing. And you know, 10 years from now, I'm walking down there and say, well, I planted that tree. Anyways, it was great work by everybody.
Yeah.
I would have been there, but I was at where was I? I was at the at Delta there that night with the Special Olympics.
I was there, but I was too late. I got there after everybody packed up. The work was already done. Anyway, thank you. Yeah, the transit report, if you would, that'd be great. Thanks.
We'll just do a really quick highlight here in that the numbers, as we had hoped and as has happened in previous years, are trending upward significantly in this last month's ridership. So we'll hope that that trend continues, and it's good news considering up until now, this point, this year has been lower than previous years when we look back. So, yeah, positive.
Just noticing that we don't have a noonday run on Saturday and Sundays, eh?
In the no.
So it's midday just runs during the week? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's why it's all zeros, okay. Okay, any other comments or questions on the transit report? Yeah, Yeah, and I think the numbers are going to stabilize after, you know, a few, you know, some more time. I think it's still an adjustment based on people getting used to it and all that sort of thing. So as a service gets more well-known, I think things should pick up.
Yes. And as
Okay.
we continue to expand and eventually bring routes to areas that are underserved or not serviced now.
Exactly, yeah, that's right. Okay, well, thank you for your report, Councillor. And you also have the next item, the intergovernmental affairs and accountability.
I do, I think,
Before Councillor goes, I have to go, so I just want to say thank you to everybody, but I do have to leave.
No, no
Yeah.
problem. No, that's fine. That's fine. Thanks very much for being here.
See everybody soon.
Yeah, take care. See ya.
was it something I said?
Don't believe in intergovernmental
Okay.
affairs.
Okay. This, just do a quick highlight, because I think much of this has been mentioned in your report and other reports. So, of course, ongoing meetings with MP Kent MacDonald and our MLAs, Jill Burridge and Jen Redmond, on a number of topics. There's also other meetings taking place with community partners, various government levels. The annual resident survey, I think that's an important one to highlight, is complete. Presentation was held, and the results were presented by consultants for staff and council. And the full results will be released publicly this month, in fact, in the very near future, so you can keep an eye out for that. And I'm sure that we'll have future discussions. We always really value the feedback provided by residents and encourage people to participate in that survey, and it does act as a guide in future decision-making and areas of focus. So we'll wait for that information to come out to the public. And finally, the annual KPI collection is complete, with the final edits being made to the website, with it being made public by the end of this month. And that concludes that report.
Thank you. I think it's important that we do keep track of key performance indicators that really show how the town is performing in various areas. For example, you know, turnaround times for building permits and that sort of thing. It's a kind of information that's valuable and is really important to a lot of people. So really look forward to that report. And the annual resident survey has been used in the past and will continue to be used in the future as a guidepost for us, as something that gives us a little more information for decision making and for guidance with regard to some of the how the community feels about various issues. So I think that's important. With regard to our community partners, I know there's a lot of meetings taking place with people that are interested in developing lots in the business park and with other areas around town, and so it is really important that we have those relationships and we you know, maintain and nurture those relationships, because it can really help the whole town as a whole to be successful. And our MP Kent MacDonald, as I said, we met with him just yesterday, and he's working hard on our behalf, as our MLAs Burridge and Redmond, to really help the town move forward on a wide range of issues. So really, I appreciate all the work that you're doing, Councillor Chandler, and I really want to thank you for being the MC at our July 1st celebrations and for singing the national anthem. As Deputy Mayor Gallant said, it added so much to the occasion, and you did a beautiful rendition. So thank you very much. And you're very comfortable behind a microphone, so that's a great asset, a great talent to have. So we really appreciate you doing that for the town. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. It actually gives me, I feel really proud, genuinely, in those moments, to be at T Hill or wherever our events are and see the broad mix of people who are attending the event, the variety in the programming and diversity, and the fact that this is a representation of our town now. And yeah, and to look out in the green space and just see it all. Like I felt really happy to be there. So great job again to everybody involved.
Thank you.
And thank you to our residents who attend and our visitors. And can I say one other thing? And I know you've already said this, but I do, for the 6 people maybe who are tuned in right now, or all those who will tune in later and watch this, in regards to yesterday's accident and fatalities, it's so significant and so heartbreaking. And I think collectively, like, obviously we do mourn on the island, but our first responders, our ambulance drivers, our firefighters, our law enforcement, many of us aren't even aware of the things that they're exposed to in their regular workdays and the traumatic parts of their days, and you know how significant they are in people's lives. And like you said, finding people or coming to people in their worst moments. So these individuals carry this load all the time, as a group, as colleagues. So to have them, to know that this is what they live with all the time, and to now know that they've lost, you know, family members, I find it really heartbreaking. So I just want to encourage everyone to be kind to all of those first responders in our community and across the island.
Yeah, EMS is such a fantastic service, and we do have a location in our emergency services building,
Yes.
which hosts, which has an EMS group, and our hearts go out to them, really. Like, it's
Yes.
just so difficult to lose friends, colleagues, almost family. It's just so difficult, and as you said, heartbreaking.
Yes, and
Thank
if
you-
you've
thank
been
you.
lucky enough to never have to call an ambulance, or you've never had an attendant in your home helping you maneuver through like one of the most terrifying moments of your life, then perhaps you can just think like, oh, we're thankful for them, but when you really have experienced that level of care, and that's what they do, like, it's really significant, so, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, it's big, large families, Jill, like the paramedic family and the police family and the fire family. Different families are all affected. Even dispatchers are affected. They're dealing with these people, talking to these people every day, and it's so sad. And my thoughts and prayers are with the families, and especially them being caregivers. They're caregivers and doing their job, and this happens, and it's just pretty sad, and it affects a lot of people, and I just talking to other people about it, other paramedics from New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Quebec, and Ontario are coming down to fill in for 2 weeks, which is really nice to see,
Yeah.
you know, and at this time of grief, and it affects a lot of people, and it's you know, you get a quiet moment. I think about it, and I know some of the people there, and just how great they were and everything else, and it's just very, very sad, and my thoughts are, of course, with the family and the wives and children and everything else. So my thoughts and prayers are with them, and hopefully they'll get through it and hopefully move on. But you know, they're great people.
Thank you. Thank both of you. Thanks for those eloquent words.
Can I just make one small comment too? One of the 3 people are from Surrey, and like, it's amazing how much PEI, like, we take a moment to do the right thing, and in Surrey they basically shut down a bunch of things. Like, we just shut down right away, events,
Yeah.
and different gatherings and all kinds of things, and you know, we feel it deeply, but we're not connected to those people. So just imagine how much families and friends and fiancés and stuff, how much it affects them. So once again, there's no more words, but I just want to echo everybody else's thoughts. So
Yeah, you're right. Words, it's hard to convey in words, those kind of sentiments. So thank you for that. Thank you all for that. Okay, we must move on. So I'll thank Councillor Chandler for her report, and now we'll move on to item 17, inquiries by members of council. Anything about the town that anyone would like to inquire about?
Yeah, I have one item, Your Worship. I just had a couple of inquiries about the new parking lot down at the Waterfront Park. And the question was, and I couldn't answer it because I couldn't recall what the specifics were on relation to any finishings around it, but the question was, is there going to be a fence or is there going to be a vegetative buffer? I took a drive by. The pavilion's coming along fabulously, by the way. I was down again today. They're getting ready to put the siding on, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that looks. But good, following up on Councilor Chandler's comments, tree planting and stuff, like I think it's pretty stark looking when you see it now. And I expect there may be something in play in relation to tree planting, vegetative barrier, fencing, that sort of thing, but I just couldn't recall, so I'm asking now if there is anything that is going to be done to kind of soften the look of it.
We got Mr. Phil Ruff at the podium, so we'll ask him to provide any information he might have.
Yeah, I can definitely talk about that. Yes, so around the outside of the parking lot, there will be a tree buffer. So it's going to be a combination of deciduous and coniferous trees. Deciduous, yeah, the broadleaves and I got the two right. Yeah, the two varieties of trees. There are also going to be a number of like shrubs through there too. So in terms of planting wise, we have to wait for the parking lot to be finished. The tree planting will take place close to the fall, so it will be in place for winter. You don't normally plant trees instead of the height of the summer, so it'd be more towards the fall where the trees and shrubs will go in. So essentially, it'd be on all sides of the property that abut the current residential neighborhood. So.
Great, thank you. That'd be a huge difference. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ruff. Any other inquiries by members of council? Anything about the town?
Yeah, I was just passing a note here. Councillor McDonald sent a note about the sign. The Southport motel sign there, been there for a number of years with the elephant, and we just want to know when it's sort of unsightly, and then plus the...
Director of Infrastructure, Jeannie
Yeah.
Woodard, is going to provide some information.
Yeah, so we did get that email today, and we were looking at our bylaws to see how we might be able to address that. We are going to look into it for sure, whether it be under the zoning and development bylaw or the unsightly premises. We're not 100% sure that it falls under unsightly premises based on the definitions in the bylaw. However, there may be some avenues in there to address it, but we will reach out to the property owner to begin with. And start those discussions and see how that goes before having to enforce any bylaw. Yep.
Thank you.
I had an inquiry from a resident. Can I read that? Just
go ahead.
Partly. This is from Colleen McPhee, the president of the condo board directors down the Glen Stewart area. She wanted to find out if there's going to add extra parking onto the Glen Stewart school area, especially closest to the roundabout. Here before you get onto McKinnon Drive. Basically what you're saying was during the winter months and when school activities in community school, the vehicles that park in their parking lot, in their parking spots at their condo or apartment area. And half the time, she said, we can't get at our own driveway because we can't see up and down the road because the amount of cars parked in our assigned resident lot and also along the road. So just wondering about additional parking space now that the roundabout is there, and also I guess will events at Glen Stewart be using the new parking lot that's for events down down the bottom of just off the roundabout. That will be in place.
I guess we could refer that to safety services. I know that parents drop their children off there and pick their children up and often park there while they're waiting.
No, I think she's talking about like nighttime activities, when there's concerts at night and all kinds of things like that at that school.
Oh, I must be thinking of a different, at the school.
Yeah, there's lots of events that go on there, like, that happen at that school at different times, so.
Okay, maybe I could ask our infrastructure department to take a look at it and see if there's any
Yeah, I'll
solutions.
I'll talk to
solutions
after.
that might be.
Okay.
Do you want to comment on it, Jeannie?
My only comment at this point would be that it's a Department of Transportation or Education question with regards to adding parking to the school property. And then also Department of Transportation for on-street parking or prohibiting on-street parking. So we can start those conversations, most certainly, but I don't see what the town ourselves can do
Yeah.
for those parking, other than asking or seeking for signage on the street. I know there has always been concerns with parking along there when students are dropping out, parents are dropping off, or even staff parking during the day.
Yeah.
Wasn't aware that there's a nighttime
Yeah,
issue
no,
as
I
well,
think
but-
it's a daytime and nighttime, but,
Sure.
yeah.
I mean, we can bring it
And in
forward.
the daytime, it's starting to get worse,
We can definitely bring the concern forward and start those conversations about perhaps signing on along the street for no parking.
Okay.
But-
She just brought it to me, and I had talked to her and told her that it would be a provincial matter, but I could
Okay,
bring it to
great.
to our staff here, and in case there is stuff like signs and different things, and also just awareness that you could pass on a note or whatever to the province, whatever.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think Councillor Chandler had her hand up, but you were moving to the microphone, so I'm not sure who. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to follow up just on Councillor Cox's comments, and perhaps if there's any advice that we can glean from the province as to how the condo board might be able to enforce their parking, because it is, it's a private property, and, there's ways in which they can enforce that if people are parking there that don't have the authority to park there, but, yeah. So
Okay.
if there's any advice that we could give to the condo board, that might be helpful, and that'd be beneficial as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Chandler.
It's kind of an inquiry, but also maybe just a thought for Jeannie and maybe others. But I did notice that the active transportation trail, as you cross over the entrance into the Sobeys parking lot, now is a stop sign, or there's some sort of visual cue for people that are on the active transportation trail. Have you guys noticed? We didn't install it? Along the Trans-Can? Yeah, like if you're on the off-ramp, because we cross over it, like the active trail does. So there's a visual cue for the users on the active transportation trail to pause and not just continue, because they've got to make sure that they're looking for traffic. I felt that maybe we had installed that, but if we haven't, I think it's a great thing to check out, and possibly there may be other ways that we could implement them to encourage our active transportation users that are on wheels to stop at any time they're.
I haven't noticed that location. I think at the Esso entrance off of the Trans-Canada Highway, there is either paintings or actually a sign, I believe, that the Department of Transportation had installed there.
Okay, so
when they made changes. So this could have been done by the department. It's also the Trans-Canada Trail through there, so I'm not certain if they went out and did some signage.
Okay.
But we can certainly find out.
It's the only place I noticed it. I think it's of benefit, and I think there's other areas that would also benefit from it especially when there's any interaction with vehicles coming off the Trans-Canada Highway.
Yes.
So in that, like along those sections,
no,
anywhere you have to
exactly.
cross into or enter a roundabout. Anyway, just food for thought.
Okay, duly noted.
If I can just add to that, the planning staff are working very closely with the new proposed development going in there across from Shoppers. So there's going to be some realignments and more configurations of that type of thing to make traffic more accessible in there, more controlled, and also protection for pedestrians as well. So it's not finalized yet, but it's getting very close to that point.
I think it'll be welcomed.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for raising that, Councillor. Yeah, so it will improve safety, I hope, in other areas as well, to look at that approach. Okay, any other inquiries by members of council? If not, we'll move on to other committees. Stratford Seniors Complex, that committee is chaired by Deputy Mayor Gallant. I'll ask him to give his report.
Senior Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, and then sustainability, there's a meeting, package, the minutes are in your package. Sustainability, infrastructure, and finance staff met to discuss funding opportunities through FCM program, LLCA, local leadership for climate adaptation, to look into the feasibility of heat pumps as a cooling solution. We have received word that application will not be accepted since it's a residential building. And that's disappointing, and with a nonprofit built like our building itself. We will continue to research our funding sources for the feasibility of heat pumps. 2025 draft financial statements were presented to seniors and finance committee and sent to COW meeting for approval. Annual inspections have been completed on the units, and this has been done in past June. Contractor will be into spray outside the building for ants once patios are complete. Electrical work is being done within the building based on building assessment report done by Coles. And electrical work is being done to replace the intercom doorbell system for the tents, which is nice to see. Public safety there. Staff and the management committee are reviewing management committee policy for potential updates, and currently right now there's 38 people on the waiting list. 5 on the list are waiting for a 2-bedroom unit, and 2 on the list have been moved to the bottom. 1 person is not a senior yet. This is submitted by Kim O'Connell. It's sort of disappointing there with the heat pumps and stuff. That hopefully we'll find a program, and especially a nonprofit building, and just change over from oil to electricity. So it'd be nice to come up with some plan. I know that the federal government has a plan that's for single dwellings, I guess, for people under the income. I think it's 55,000 for single.
Yeah, but it's for owners of buildings. It's kind of difficult.
Yeah,
For renters, yeah. So
There's
the
renters,
landlord
yeah.
would have to do it, so
Yeah.
we're the landlord. But
Yeah.
I think we're not, because it's a rental, yeah, I don't know how we could look at that. The other thing that's important, I noticed, is that they don't have, the common room is air conditioned though, eh? We have an air conditioner. I can't remember how that was funded, but it was provided we bought it, yeah. So it was something that, but to buy heat pumps for every unit would be pretty expensive, and yeah, it would be nice. It would save some money in the long run with regard to oil and that sort of thing. But I don't know if anybody's ever looked at the payback period for that. If that is something that would make sense in the long run for heat pumps as opposed to oil. I know that you need oil in addition, but the oil would not be used as much if we had heat pumps.
There's a couple of different things affecting this. One is currently the oil, we pay for the heat down there. But once we switch to the heat pumps, the tenant would be paying, because they currently pay
As
for
part of the
their
electricity bill, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's still saving.
We'd be
No, you're spending their
losing
money
less
as opposed to
oil,
our
but
money, yeah.
they'd be paying more.
Yeah.
Did we ever check out, because I think I had mentioned, but I didn't know if it was accurate, that another seniors complex has heat pumps in their apartments? Do they?
I don't know if they do or not, but like, I know St. John House, they got a whole bunch of funding, and they've done a lot of work. I'm not sure if they have heat pumps currently, but I think they do.
Okay.
But they did receive a bunch of funding just in the past few years. So
Okay.
we're going to look at different funding options as well.
So it could have been broader funding for upgrades,
Yes,
like
theirs
period,
was,
that they
yeah,
applied
energy,
to
yeah.
that sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
And would we be allowed to somehow subsidize the cost of the money we're saving through oil that's now being paid by the residents? Would that be something that would be?
Yeah, like I had reached out before we did the funding application to see in the future if there's ways that we can work with CMHC on the rent, and there will be ways that we can work with them on the rent.
Okay, great.
In the future.
Great, great. Okay, well, I'm glad that's being looked at. That's really important. The other thing that I noticed is that you weren't able to review the reports because there's no internet access. I'm not a
No,
techie person.
We don't have internet down there.
But-
The
but-
tenants each would pay their own, like, each unit would, if they want cable or internet, they have, like, they would, just like any other apartment building, you would.
But Wi-Fi for the common area, would that be, those hotspots aren't real expensive, are they, or are they? Maybe it's something you could ask Kent about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could check with Ken on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. No, that's all the questions I had. Anybody else have any comments or questions for Kim?
They don't have internet there?
Tenants do, like, in their own individual units.
So
But
they
there's
pay for it.
nothing that we rely on digital, like communications or Bluetooth or anything, like for security or?
We have a camera system, I'm not sure, they do use it through, it's through cell phone
Okay.
option, yeah. Yeah, for our cameras.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Just one question, Your Worship. I wasn't aware that non-seniors could put their name on the list. I wonder if is that something that's been a traditional thing to do? I mean, I could see where people would, in anticipation, 50, 60 years old, putting it on in hopes that they'd be somewhere up in the upper part of the list by the time they turn senior versus someone making application when they become a senior.
Yeah, it's not common, but like we don't call them if there's a vacant unit because they're not a senior.
No, I realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What stood out is, and I'm not saying it's going to be a big flood of this, but
Yeah,
we could have 20 non-seniors go on the list,
yeah,
and, that would kind of skew the numbers
yeah,
and might deter somebody else from going on the list if there's 35 people on there ahead of them kind of thing.
yeah.
Not to say that the non-senior's going to get ahead of them, but perceptually, they might think that to be the case. To me, it's a seniors unit, and you make application when you become a senior, but if that's, if the rules allow that, that's fine. I have no major issue. I don't expect we're going to get a big flood of it, but
Yeah.
I just wouldn't want to see people going on the list in anticipation of 5 or 10 years down the road.
Yeah, definitely. This is the first one that I can recall, so we can just, if new people are contacting us, we can just change it to, so that, no, just wait till you're a senior. Yeah,
But in the whole big picture of things,
we don't
the,
contact them.
the waiting list, it's not, it's there, it's potentially could work out, it could be the right time, the right this, the right that.
Yeah.
But a lot of time, you're going through all of that list and it's no's, 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 no's. Because
That's
there's the
correct.
timing or the budget or their life has changed or their income or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So the waiting list is there, but it's not really an accurate snapshot. It's of current events, I don't think.
There is a perception.
They're still waiting, people interested in waiting, but the their availability to say yes to a vacant spot as it becomes available when they don't know it's becoming available is not, it's a significant intersection that would have to work out, I think.
Yep. Any other comments or questions? Okay, thank you very much, Kim. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Okay. Well,
Record.
sorry.
Oh, sorry. We're moving right along.
Oh, is there something else you wanted? Sorry. I didn't mean to cut anybody off. I just thought we were finished.
No, we are.
Okay, appointments to committees. Any appointments to committees? I guess at this point, we're only short distance or short time till we'll be renewing all the committees, so there's no appointments to committees. No proclamations. Any other business anyone would like to bring to the table at this time? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. We're now adjourned. Thank you.